So as soon as you unlock the power of free will in the direction of positivity, peace, harmony, you are walking towards a destiny of your soul, and that destiny reveals itself only to those who use their free will for the highest good. Because here you don't need to control the destiny. Here you just need to flow with your soul and the destiny is revealed. It's like a pathless path. Namaste everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to talk about free will and destiny. So the reality that we live in, the life that we are experiencing, it's like a divine play of forces, of energies. And as soon as you come here, you experience the law of free will. This is the core of our experience here, that we have the possibility of drifting towards the reality where we are doing good, where we are anchoring the energy of higher beings, of angelic beings, creating peace, harmony. And at the same time, there is a possibility in you to become negative, to do evil things. So both of the possibilities are there within you. And this divine play is about choosing what you want to become. So this is why you have to understand that when we are going through this divine play, it's not a game, it's a play of energies. There is no winning or losing here. It's an unfoldment of energy. So there is no involvement of God here. For example, there were people like Hitler and many other dictators who killed millions of people. No one came in between and said to them, stop, we are not gonna allow it. As soon as you come in this plane of duality, you are given free will, and some people use it really negatively and no one stops them. There are many examples that you can see. I'm talking about history, not mythology. Let's try to keep this video existential, because when we enter the territory of mythology, we can create 7 kinds of heaven, depending on the culture we are talking about, 7 kinds of hell, what happens after life. We can only speculate about that because no one's really been there. We can just talk about it, but we don't know about it. So let's talk about what we know. What we know is that in history, there were people who have killed millions of people, like Hitler. And maybe, logically speaking, they never received the suffering that they gave because they created immense suffering in people. It was not a fast and pain-free death that he gave to people. It was torturing. So he is a perfect example of using the free will in a negative way, to do negative things. He said that I am cleansing the planet. He used to think that he's doing the right thing. So you have to understand this, that the very core of differentiating between the good and bad is that if you are torturing people, if you are making them suffer, how can that be good? It's a very common sense. So no one is gonna come in between here. That's the one of the laws here, that there is free will. On the other hand, there are people who are spiritual teachers, who have always been there, who have inspired people, made people awaken, and they use the force of the positivity. They use the angelic energy, the energy of higher beings, to make people more conscious, to make them more positive. Not killing people, but awakening them, making them realize that there is a higher self in them. So both of the forces exist. But in the middle somewhere, for the sake of this explanation, let's just say there is one more category where people are just concerned with themselves. You can call that the common man, the public, the masses. They don't care about these negative forces, the positive forces. They only care about themselves. That I just want to do my job, earn my money, pay my bills, and just exist. But unfortunately, they can't exist without these two forces. Especially right now on our planet, there is a huge power struggle that is going on between the negative and the positive forces. And for a long time, the negative forces were in control. That's why you saw the wars that are still going on. What positive force would want the war? Would want to kill other people? Just think about it logically. It can only be the negative force. And maybe the leaders, it makes sense if you think they are influenced by the negative forces. Maybe they are invoking the lower entities. Let's talk about this for a minute. If we feel that there are angelic beings, There are beings that are of higher consciousness, higher beings that dwell in different realms. And if you are spiritual, you might have connected with them through meditation, through guidance, through tarot. There are many methods, through channeling. You might get messages from them. You might feel their presence, which is immensely powerful. So they dwell in the higher realms. But there are other entities which belong to the lower realms. And they are lower entities, which means they are negative in nature. You can also call them demonic, which only wants death and destruction, cruelty, horror, suffering. That's how they are, that's their nature. They feed off fear, suffering. So if the people who are in power and they are influenced by these negative forces, what they will try to create? A world which will generate this sort of energy. And you will notice that that's what humanity have been living in for a long time. Fear, suffering, powerlessness, and all the lower dimensional energies. So the people who are stuck in the middle, the masses, if they don't awaken spiritually to their own higher selves, to their own power, they are bound to be controlled by whoever is in power. If it's the negative forces, they will just be controlled like a sheep. Whatever the world they are trying to create, they will fall for it because they are in the matrix. That's the first thing that you have to understand, that if you want to be a part of the masses, if you want to be in the matrix, you have to be in your ego. You have to be really selfish about life. You have to be at the 3 lower chakras. You have to be in fear. You just have to care about your own survival. You have to be just worried about entertainment, about seeking more and more pleasure, and not the good kind of pleasure, just indulged in it, and you want power in the world. You can also call that food, sex, and power. That's what the majority of the people want from their lives. And there is no end to it because they are in the programming of the ego. And whoever is in power in this free will world, that's how the world is designed. So if you want to break free from this matrix, you have to awaken to your own higher self. That's the thing, that when you say yes to your ego, when you are just operating in these 3 lower chakras and you are not even aware of it, you lose your soul. It's like you create a block. You have the possibility of both, that you can go towards becoming a higher being and do the good work, or you can be evil and negative. So let's just say that you are not doing both. Then you are controlled by the matrix, which is decided by the one who is in power. And if that's the negative people, the negative energies, then they will just feed off you. They will keep you in fear. They will keep you in survival. They don't want you to awaken. Understand this. Now let's talk about how you can use the free will to awaken your soul. First of all, you have to think differently from the masses. You have to reconnect with your own energies. You have to make that soul come online, because you have kept the ego online for so long that the soul has gone offline. So as soon as you start taking attention away from the ego and start giving attention to the soul, to your higher self, there are many different names for it, but I am trying to point towards the same energy, which is the higher energy. And you have that possibility within you to connect to the higher beings, to do something good, and to disconnect from the matrix. You have that power, but you have to take the attention out from the ego. And that's what people are afraid of, because our entire identity is based on that ego. We get all the validation from the matrix. So as soon as you start walking on the path of your spirit, you will no longer be understood by the masses. It's a very different path, and people who are on that path will understand what I'm saying, because your priorities will be different, your values will be different, what you want for yourself and what you want to do for the world will be different, because you're no longer selfish. Your heart is open. The way to keep you selfish, the way to keep you dumb and asleep, is to close your hearts, to be afraid all the time, to not trust, to not love, to not tap into that higher frequency. So when you disconnect from the ego and you start meditating, and when you start going within and reconnecting with your energies, you start connecting with your chakras. This is just a starting, and there are multiple ways of doing that. I'm just talking about one way. So as soon as you go towards the higher chakras, it's like you're going towards your higher being. Your lower chakras keep you at the lower being, which is like animal. It would just want three things, and all animals want that, but you are higher than that. So your heart chakra, when it opens, when you connect with that, you're able to see that there is immense love for all beings, which is very different from selfishness. And you go a little bit higher. There is the third eye, which is blocked by fluoride. And you know that why there is fluoride in water now. Because it takes you to the higher being, your higher self. The third eye is your psychic center. It is from there you receive downloads, guidance, directions, what you need to do with your free will to awaken your soul path. It all comes from your intuition, your intuitive guidance. And it is not there without any purpose. You have a pineal gland and it has a spiritual purpose also. And it is a well-known fact that it is blocked by fluoride. And even if you are away from fluoride, you need to activate it, you need to reconnect with it, you need to meditate on it. One of the most powerful ways is sun gazing. That when you look at the sun at the time of sunset or sunrise, when it is clearly visible, you try to see, visualize that you are not looking it through both of your physical eyes. Just look at it and feel that your third eye is looking at the sun, because it is activated by light. So the more you see it, the more you realize that there is some sort of pulsation that is happening in a subtle way. And it is getting activated, it is opening, and you are able to receive guidance from other realms, the higher beings. And then there is the crown chakra, which is about being connected to everything beyond your ego, realizing that you are beyond your physical self. It is not located inside your body, it is outside your physical body, because you are not just a physical being. There is a higher being, and everyone has their higher self. Your higher self is like your angelic self. It is connected to all the higher realms. It is connected to the higher dimensional consciousness. And the more you are connected to it, the more you are awakened to your soul path. And then you use your free will towards the good, towards the positive, towards harmony, towards peace. Otherwise, you are just at the lower states of consciousness and you're in the matrix. So use your free will to walk towards your spirit, towards your soul. And it will guide you. It will tell you what you are actually here to do. Because we are all disconnected from our soul missions when we give all the attention to the ego. When you just live in the lower three chakras, you don't know what you are here for at the first place. You have a huge mission, that's why you're here. No one is here by accident. No one is here to just stay in the matrix. The matrix is Maya, illusion, to keep you stuck, to keep you just think that we are all selfish beings. And that's the collective reality we live in. But as soon as you log out of that, you realize that there is a higher purpose, that I'm not just here for this. So connect to the higher beings and they will help you to go beyond all the influence of the negative forces, and maybe you will become a person who will be in that fight which is going on in this divine play of the negative forces versus the positive forces. And it has been going on for generations, for centuries. It has always been there. It has been just taking different forms. So next thing I want to talk about is using the free will to empower yourself. A lot of times when we are stuck in our lives, we become victims of it. Let me give you an example. For example, there is a woman who is constantly abused by her own family, by her husband, and she's just putting up with it because she feels somehow that it's okay. She has normalized the abuse. Now she has become a victim of her reality. Do you think that you're the higher being in you would accept that abuse? Will you get any sort of certification, appreciation for accepting that abuse? So this is what we call victimhood. And free will is all about getting out of this victim consciousness, not accepting abuse. And why do we do that? Because we have been in that relationship for 10 years, 20 years, for the sake of kids or whatever. We keep accepting abuse. No one deserves that. Because when someone is abusing the other person is suffering. So what sort of energy is there? It's the negative energy. It's the energy of the lower entities. And a lot of times, the people who love to abuse others, maybe physically hitting others, humiliating others, such people gravitate towards the negative forces, because there is a vibrational match. You have to empower yourself and you have to realize that you don't deserve abuse. No one does, because it is not something which is creating peace and harmony in you, which is pushing you towards a positive reality. You are just suffering. And just think about it. If you hug someone, what is that vibration? Versus when you hit someone, what is that vibration? So don't call hitting others love, that you can hit the person you love, you can make them suffer. It's love. It's not. Log out of that paradigm. Love is about making others seen, hugging them, creating a positive shift in them. So empower yourself. Get out of that cycle of self-neglect, self-rejection. Empower yourself through becoming aware of your soul, of your worth, of your power, and say yes to yourself. You don't deserve abuse. And there are many examples that we can take where people become victims of their lives and they never step into a power, they never say yes to them. They just keep accepting it, they normalize it. So this normalization is another big problem. Whenever you normalize any bad behavior, any kind of negative energy, you think that it's happening with everyone. It's very normal. You never talk about it. That's another thing. That everything that thrives in silence, things like abuse, things like violence, when it's happening in family, when it's happening with your closed ones, loved ones, it can only thrive in silence. The moment you talk about it, it can't happen again. So don't be silent about it. Speak out, seek help, empower yourself. And that will help you to shift towards the creator reality, from victim to creator. That's your free will. And another thing that I want to talk about is all the negative forces. People like Hitler, they do so much negative stuff. So will they ever meet their karma? We can't know that. That's why you can't wait for it. It's about giving yourself the closure, giving yourself the approval to move on with your life and become empowered. There are many people in your life that hurt you, that give you immense amount of trauma. You don't know when will they meet their karma. You can't. Some people say that it's in the next incarnation that they will take birth in a lower form or lower entity. But again, that's not existential. We can only speculate about that. So what's existential is, don't give them your attention. Try to get yourself free from them and create your most empowered life. And let the karma take its course. Maybe it will not be unfolded as you want. Maybe you will not get to see it. But maybe it's not about that. Maybe it's about you. It's about you taking your power back. It's about you becoming your most empowered self. And it's about you creating your future destiny. So as soon as you unlock the power of free will in the direction of positivity, peace, harmony, you are walking towards the destiny of your soul, what you're here actually for, which is a purpose, a higher purpose, which can't be understood by everyone else. And it's not about making people understand at all. It's about walking that path. And that destiny reveals itself only to those who use their free will for the highest good. Because here you don't need to control the destiny. Here you just need to flow with your soul and the destiny is revealed. It's like a pathless path. So don't worry too much about the future. Just be in this moment. Use your free will to become more empowered. Become a creator of your reality. Never be a victim. And always choose yourself. You deserve the best. You deserve to have a good experience in this divine play. So take your power back. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can like, comment, share. You can also support my work by hitting the thanks button. And please make sure to subscribe. See you in the next video. Much love to you all.